Hi everyone, I'm Julie, or Julie Sunflowers. I want to tell you about a really cool thing I experienced when I was in New York. I have moved back to Copenhagen, and as you can see, I have just been dyeing my hair pink because I just went to the Roskilde Festival, which was awesome, by the way. But I want to let you know that I'm doing well. I am excited to be back in Denmark, to be with friends and family. And after my thesis is handed in, the 1st of September, I'm gonna start my new video company. So I'm really excited about that. But I want to share something with you guys from New York. When I was there, I was working out of a little shared office space called Nowhere Studios. It was in Brooklyn, and it was made by a couple, Porter and Sara, and they were just amazing, welcoming, and I was able to have a little flex space, office space there to write on my thesis. And I just fell in love with the atmosphere at the place, and so here comes a little interview with them telling about how they created the space and what a place like that does for people who are in the creative field. Because it's really important to work around people who are creative like you, to get inspired, and you can cooperate on projects and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe I'll do something like that someday in Copenhagen, we'll see. And yeah, ooh, one little new thing is that I bought a sunflower. I just needed a plant in my life. And of course it had to be a sunflower. Bye!
Nowhere Studios is a co-work space in Brooklyn, New York. It's also the home base and offices for Nowhere Magazine, which is a magazine of literary, travel, writing, photography, and art.
So we are at Nowhere Studios, which one might joke, it is in the middle of nowhere, because we're on a very industrial street and we're just kind of off the grid a little bit here, which I think we're all kind of looking for a corner of that in New York City because it's so overpopulated and everything has already been discovered and rediscovered. But we feel like we kind of maybe made our little map of the area, which is nice.
It is a place where we have tried to create desk space for people at the most basic level, but at a higher level tried to start a community of creative people that do professional things in kind of the same realm. Designers, writers, photographers, filmmakers, and we tried to create a space that was kind of in that vein. It was creative and open and sunny and a bit unorthodox, and yeah, that's what it is.
My role was, besides assisting carpentry, was kind of the design element and bringing a lot of plants into the space and having a thematic interior design, something that would make someone feel relaxed and calm and able to concentrate. And I think it's really important to have a lot of plants and natural light. So that's been a huge push for me to get Porter to cut these skylights, because although I advocated for them, I do not know exactly how he cut a hole in the roof. The whole concept with the design was just to facilitate an office where I would want to be, something that I felt comfortable in. So we didn't really need to kind of come up with a very stuffy, this is the interior design plan, this is the floor plan. We did a lot of that and made mistakes as we went, but it mostly just happened organically.
The original building was put up in 1901, or at least the property was bought then. The earliest building records are from 1915, and the earliest photograph we've seen is 1935. And it has been everything in the next 80 years. It's been sort of like followed the evolution of Brooklyn in a way. It may well have been a horse carriage facility. In the 70s, it was auto body shop called Glitter, which we thought was a nightclub at first when we saw the spray paint on the door, but it was actually a auto body shop. It was an antique shop for many years. That is still on the glass doors outside. It was when we moved, right before we moved in, it was a storage facility for matzah cakes. There were no skylights, there were no windows in the back, but it was a very beautiful space. The way it opens up, the more you walk towards the back, it was a pretty neat spot. So we knew right away that we wanted it. We did it all ourselves. We hired some carpenters to build the cyc wall and do some fine carpentry kind of stuff, but we set up a tent in the middle of the studio and camped here for a week and a half and worked probably 20 hours a day, pouring concrete and painting the floors and knocking out those two windows in the back. We put those in ourselves. Gosh, what else? Oh, a lot of stuff. And then building all the furniture. We would go out in the beginning, we went out into the streets of Brooklyn and would get lumber off the streets and mill it down and then turn it into the kitchen island or this table or the coffee table. It gets so much use. That's the coolest thing. You sit there for 3 long and lonely months building so much, so much. To see it actually get used it's so fun. It makes it all worth it. When we first moved in, we were going to put the common area up front. It was, in a weird way, it was an unusable space because it had the glass doors right there and a lot of traffic, and it was just, we didn't know what to do with it. And then she had the brilliant idea to put a cyc wall in and make it a photo studio. A lot of times they have their meetings here. They can all sit around. And that's the cyc wall up here. And yeah, it's kind of amazing. I love it. It's like the one modern and clean looking part of this whole place.
We have the ability to offer something that most students, people starting out, can afford. And I like being the platform for people to be able to do their expressive, creative projects without having to spend all their money.
Probably over 100 shoots at this point, and maybe not 100, maybe like 60, but still a lot of shoots, video shoots, fashion product shoots, music videos, feature films, interviews, documentaries. It's a tourism promotion shoot where for the Caribbean, and everyone dressed up in this traditional Caribbean outfits, and we're dancing. Like it's pretty fun. It's really fun to watch. So we designed it to have a lot of seating and a lot of desks, but more importantly, we wanted it to have different areas. So you didn't feel, when we walked in here, it was one long box. It was a big shoebox. So we wanted to feel like you could, you know, if you're working in this area, you could go relax in that area. If you were relaxing over there, you could go to a project over there. And you know, it's like how Olmsted used to design Central Park and Prospect Park, and you build hills and you make a little passageway, and then all of a sudden this big long flat field feels bigger and it feels more private. And not that we were trying to be Olmsted, but it was, you know, it was the same idea, just divided up with some cool walls and things you could see through. We really wanted to keep the light flowing front to back. It depends on your aesthetic, what you like. I hate walking into a new building where everything is 90 degrees and sheetrock and fresh paint, and it's like a mall or an airport. It's like a false place. Whereas in the brownstones of Brooklyn, a lot of the old molding is still in place, and wood that's oiled, like a banister that's oiled just by people's hands running over it for 75 years. I mean, that's like a real thing to me. And so I think that it's a really nice shortcut to making your place homey and and have a bit of character to it. Oh, the phone booth. This is my new favorite. We just picked this up. People were having conversations, sometimes phone conversations, Skype conversations that were just too loud for the studio. It was driving people crazy. So we built this not to keep sound out, which original phone booths I think were built for. This keeps the sound in. And I did my taxes the other day in the phone booth, and it was great. It was totally private. And so when you close it, you get a fan, you get the light. It's pretty cool. The staircase has been an adventure that we've been trying to solve for about a year. Not this particular one, but just figuring out what to put there. And ultimately, it will have railings on it and just be a nice, safe way to get up to the roof and back. We wanted to make an outdoor space where people could get away from their desks and get into the sunshine for a sec. Just a deck that we built up there out of pallets, a couple of chaise lounge chairs. Got a barbecue up there now, got a cooler up there now, and raised garden beds we just put in, solar Christmas lights. Every 3 days it gets something new. We built it to have 3 different tiers of membership so that we wanted private desks. I wanted a private desk, and my wife Sarah wanted a private desk. So we built a big one and a little one, and mostly so not everybody can afford a big one, and we had the space to put some small ones in. So, that was cool. And then we built the rest of the studio out as a flex space, which is a space where people can just bring their laptop in, or a book or drawings or whatever, work for the day, and then take their stuff home. So multiple people are using the same desks. This is the flex space, the flex desk. We honestly did that at first because we had friends that wanted to work here and they just didn't have any money. And they didn't need a full desk. They were just like, hey, I just need to come and work and, get some stuff done and get out of the house.
Working from home is terrible. I like to be around people. I wasn't that productive because I was constantly distracting myself with household chores or other things that seemed more important than the actual work I needed to do. So coming into the studio is so fun because it's an office, but it's an office of our friends and of the community. It's not like we're all working for a big corporate company or anything like that. So it's, I find I get so much more work done here, and I also feel like I'm having fun when I'm doing it, which I never felt like working from home. So I would say it has something to do with finding the right place and not taking on more than you can handle, and also taking risks at the right time. I'm a huge believer in following your gut feeling, because I think at the end of the day, we all know if we're making the right decision or not, if we listen to ourselves. So with business, which I think I love business. I think it's so fun, and I've worked for myself as a photographer for many years, and running the studio is also our own small business. And I've just always operated under the notion of always be honest, always ask questions, never pretend you know something that you don't know, because it's just not useful. And if you have a good moral conscience and you want to do the right thing and you work hard, you will accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. So that's my blanket Oprah statement.
I love this table the most because it looks really great, and it honestly took about 2 hours to put together, and that was very rewarding. Yeah.